Hello, this is Hannah O. Jones. This is my weekly vlog for July 3rd through the 7th. So, this week, what we did was we were preparing for the meeting that's coming up on the 13th. The deadline for all of the maps to be submitted was on the 7th. So, we were waiting to hear back from that, but we didn't hear anything back from that. So, we're just waiting for the second public hearing meeting that will be happening on the 13th. Um, this meeting will talk about the lines, and I guess I'm not sure, but we're not sure if they're going to vote on which map they're going to use to fulfill the Supreme Court ruling. So that's basically what we're doing. And then they're also I guess they have to vote on the map that they're going to use, and then they're going to draw the map on the 21st of July. So we're just waiting from that. Also, this week, what we did was we looked at the quotes that we use from that particular meeting to make sure that these quotes highlighted the main points that each person was trying to say. We wanted to make sure that we were quoting them correctly. We checked for grammars, and there were a little mistakes here and there. And so one thing my boss, she told me, she said that because we're a small company and we're sending something out, and sometimes we're holding people accountable for things, they will make mountains out of molehills over something small. So we want to make sure that we have people names spelled right, we have their job listed correctly. One of the other things we did was we wanted to highlight the people that were in the case. So Evan Mulligan, we wanted to make sure that his quotes were absolutely correct. So one of the things that I am working on when I am speaking that I learned in class, this was the public relations class. Now, I went to school long time ago, and some of the teachers that I took are no longer here. And so in one of the classes, I had Dr. Scofis, and she's no longer here at the university, but I have been trying to master this. And so one of the things that I've been trying to master is, she said, if you're speaking, stop saying and if you need to pause, go ahead and pause, because the ums make people think that you don't know what you're talking about. And so I'm very conscious when I'm speaking to try not to say or So that's what I'm doing when I'm trying to do the presentations and talk. The other thing that she told us, if you're doing a PowerPoint presentation, or if you're doing a flyer, or if you're doing anything along those lines, you want to make sure that you take up all the available space and not leave any dead space. Because if a person is looking at it from a far off distance and they see a dead space there, they might wonder, did something belong there, or was something taken off? So just go ahead and utilize all that space. So that's what I tried to do when I created all of these. So I created all of these. They gave me a template, but I created all of these. I found the pictures, and I had to research and find the pictures, and I utilized some of the pictures that I took while I was at the meeting, along with their pictures that they had, and I just incorporated them into this particular media presentation that we were doing. The other thing I did was the press releases. So the press releases, when I got there, my supervisor, she asked that I know how to do a press release, and I said yes. And she gave me a template of their press release, and I just hit the ground running. So this is one of the press releases that I wrote from beginning to end, about the film festival. And she told me the basic things that she wanted inside this particular press release. And then when I got it back to her, I just had the basic information. And so she wanted me to elaborate a little bit more, because she said that when we send it out, because we're a smaller company, she wants people to be able to read it and get excited about it. So that's what I did. And so she wanted me to add some featurettes, maybe a few synopses of the films, of each film that we would be highlighting. And so that's what I did. And that was that press release. And she said that it didn't matter if it was longer, because I was under the impression that press releases had to be only one page. But she said it doesn't matter if it's longer. You just want to have good information in there. And I also got quotes from the director of the Beacon Center, and I incorporated all of those in there. And then another one of the press releases that I did was the Power of Art, Health and Art press release for the Health and Art Fair. And so I got all the information and I put all that information in there. And so I just wrote the press release, and I made sure that I proofread my own press release to make sure that it was correct without any errors. I learned that in the copy editing class. I took that with Coke Ellington, and he also was very stickler on making mistakes, even if it was a small mistake. And so you don't want to make any small mistakes. You don't want to have any run-on sentences, comma slices, or anything like that. So one of the things that I learned in the class was, if you're reading a sentence and you're reading the sentence and you have to take a breath in the middle of the sentence, that means that there needs to be a comma, or you need to shorten the sentence, or it's a run-on sentence. So when you're reading a sentence, the commas you look at as breaths. So if you're reading it out loud, the comma will be where you would take a breath. And so that's one of the things I learned. I try to give a complete thought in the sentence. I make sure the sentences are not run-on sentences, and I make sure I put all the right punctuation wherever it needs to go. And then we send it out, and I send it to my manager so she can look at it and approve it. And so those are the things that I remember from the classes. Now, I had been doing press releases and flyers, more flyers than anything else, throughout my work history, my work life, and on the job. And that's just what I was able to do. And I think I've been able to master that with flyers and working with social media and putting up information for people to see, getting information out there, disseminating information to people so that they will be enticed by whatever is on the flyer. I've worked for several different people, different events. I've done several different flyers and different events for different people, and I always put the flyer up. I always put the information out there, and it's always engaging. And I try to make sure that I incorporated the things that I've learned in my public relation classes when I'm doing something for someone else. And I work for a different company. It is called Seed Life, and I do the social media information for them. I do flyers for them, media. I'm a media strategist for them as well. So throughout the years, I have incorporated the things that I've used in public relations in my everyday life. And so that's all that I did this week. Stay tuned for next week.